Hi, this is Dr. Bob with Carolina Value Pet Care. Today we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about cat nutrition. I have with my, on the other side of the camera today, Shelly's going to be asking questions about cat nutrition, and hopefully you'll learn a lot.
Hey, Dr. Bob. How does nutrition impact the health and well-being of my cat?
Same as with people, no different. Same as with your dog, same with any animal. Obviously, think of food. I guess it was one of those old dead Greek guys 2,000 years ago who said food is medicine, and absolutely true. Food is medicine. Think about the one thing that we do every day that impacts the quality of our lives, and it's nutrition, food, nourishment, however you want to call it. So what goes into your body is going to affect what comes out of your body, basically, and cats are no different. Dogs are no different. People are no different. No animals any different. So understanding the importance of nutrition for pets is equally as important as understanding nutrition for your own needs.
What are the nutritional requirements for a cat?
So essentially there are several different elements that it's going to, this is true for again, people, for dogs, for all of us. So we think of protein. That's actually the number one requirement for cats. Fat, carbohydrates, water, fiber, vitamins, minerals. So that's sort of the scope of everything that consists of an appropriate diet for a cat.
Will my cat's nutritional requirements change throughout their life from kitten to adult to senior?
They do, just like they can for us to some degree. But primarily we think of kittens needing more protein. Of course, we think of them, we want to make sure they have plenty of vitamins and minerals, because they're building muscle, they're building, I mean, everything is sort of in growth mode for the first several months of their life. Then we get into the adult stage, which actually can go on for quite a number of years, of course. And then we get into the senior stage, which, again, it's kind of a moving target, but it can be 12, 14 years of age. We see a lot of cats that live to be 17, 18, 19 years of age, typically longer than dogs. So there are certain nutritional needs for those cats that, say, a younger cat would not need. The other consideration when it comes to nutritional needs, again, there can be health conditions that can also dictate. If your cat has kidney problems, if your cat has liver issues, certainly we need to address those depending on the sort of the health concerns we have.
What are some signs and symptoms of poor cat nutrition?
Yeah, quite a few different things. Fortunately, here's the good news. We don't see, with most household cats, the big problem that we see is obesity. That's probably the number one issue that we see of all. But we can also see cats that have digestive issues, either vomiting or diarrhea, or constipation could be a significant concern in some cats. The quality of their hair coat, just the overall quality of their lives, just how thrifty they appear to be, is all going to be dictated by, in many cases, going to be dictated just by nutrition.
What are some common food allergies in cats, and how can I tell if my cat is suffering from them?
So for food allergies, typically sort of 80% of food allergies in cats are going to come from either beef, fish, or dairy. Now, unfortunately, there is no reliable test for dogs or cats for food allergies. There are tests, and I want to be clear, there are tests for food allergies out there. But to date, and this is 2022, there is not a reliable test for food allergies. I want to make that clear because I know there are tests out there. I just hate to see people waste their money. But we know in cats, because we've been doing clinical trials, or what we call food elimination trials for decades for dogs and cats, and when we suspect a food allergy, of trying to get them onto an appropriate diet to try to get them away from the proteins that are causing the food allergies. But again, beef, fish, and dairy are the big three for cats.
So when it comes to cat food, what and how much should I be feeding them?
When it comes to cat food, again, you've got different choices. Certainly you've got dry food, dry kibble, which is convenient, and just open up the cabinet, reach in there, grab the box out of the bag, pour some into the bowl, poof, you're done for the day, right? Um, sounds quick and easy, and it pretty much is. Canned food, obviously a little bit messier, a little bit more time consuming. Some people a little bit repulsed by the aroma of the canned food. And then there's also a raw diet as well. Here's the thing I do caution people about using a raw diet. If you're going to make a blend of your own, do your research. Don't just go out and just buy, some chicken breast or some ground beef or ground turkey or something, or just, some, I don't know, some tilapia or something, and think that making your own is going to be sufficient. So I'm going to give you a little bit more context around all this, but think about it in the wild. Now, your cat is not too far removed, of course, from the big cats, to the cheetahs and the lions and the bobcats and you name it. What do they eat? What do they eat? They're eating wild animals. They're eating rabbits, or they're eating gazelles, or they're eating something, and they're getting their nourishment from another animal. Okay? But when they eat that animal, they're not just eating like, oh my gosh, I feel like just eating a leg today or eating the chicken breast. No, they're eating the whole carcass. They're eating the intestines, they're eating the heart, the liver, the spleen, the lungs, what we call the organ meats. And if you're just giving just the muscle or the meat from like a chicken or a turkey or whatever, you're really, really undernourishing your pet, because they're missing so many what we call micronutrients if we're just giving just the meat. So please keep that in mind. I don't mind if somebody wants to make a raw diet. I want to say there's a website called, I want to say it's Balance It, BALANCEIT. I think that's what it is. And I want to say it's .org perhaps. There's actually some veterinary nutritionists created the website, and of course with more details on pet nutrition, but they also have some resources to be able to help somebody if they want to try to create a raw diet for their pet. The sort of the nutrients and the supplements and the vitamins and the minerals, the things that would need to go into a diet to make it a whole and complete diet. Now, getting back to dry food and getting back to wet food. Unfortunately, the problem that we see with dry food, great, it's easy, right? It's pretty cheap. But unfortunately, it's too high in carbohydrates and too low in protein. Now, we made this sort of revelation or discovery about 5 or 7 years ago. So we now know it's best to feed cats. They should be getting ideally, should be getting some canned food. Higher in protein, not to mention the water content. Cats are not big water drinkers, not like dogs are. So if we can make sure they're getting an adequate amount of water, if we're making sure they're getting an adequate amount of protein, and the best way to do that is either, well, again, you could do the raw diet, but for most people that's not convenient. Then please make sure that you incorporate some wet food into their diet. That's going to make for a healthier cat. Now, as far as the quantity, very good question, because we do see so much obesity in cats, and a big part of the reason, well, they're not active for one thing, but also, again, the high carbohydrate nature of dry cat foods is a big contributor to that as well. Sort of, again, reinforcing the reason why we want to include some canned food into their diet. So as far as how much, depends on the weight and also, again, sort of the lifestyle of your cat. If they're very active, they're probably going to need more calories. If they're outside hunting, and usually, of course, those cats are usually in healthier shape because they're more toned, they're more active, they're going around the neighborhood, they're chasing birds or squirrels, or they're staying away from other cats, trying to stay out of cat fights or whatever. Those cats are generally going to be healthier, trimmer, more toned. Indoor cats, yeah, they lay around all day and just kind of hang out. They follow the sun. They're going to sleep where the sun is. They're going to move around a little bit, and that's their level of exercise. So we do have to be careful about making sure we don't overfeed those cats. Just because they're hungry doesn't mean that they should be fed. Likewise, it's another reason why if you're going to be feeding just dry kibble and they're constantly hungry, not surprising, because again, they're getting too many carbohydrates. That's just the nature of the dry cat foods. So if you start incorporating some wet food into the diet, then I think you'll see that those cats, in many cases, will start to lose weight, even if you don't do anything else, just because they are getting more protein, they're feeling more full, and they don't have that need to keep trying to eat. Okay, so know that's a lot to digest, pun intended. So anyway, hopefully that'll give you some insights into food. But gosh, there's so much more we'll get into in the future. But hopefully that'll give you start getting you some things to think about when it comes to cat nutrition. So thanks for being with us, and we'll join you soon. Thanks.